It's Angela Taylor from Inspire Community Outreach, and I'm here to chat with you about being sensitive. Being sensitive sometimes gets a real bad rap. You know, oh, you're being too sensitive. You're oversensitive. There's lots of those types of things that I heard like for all of my life. And now that I'm older, I think, there's actually a lot of really wonderful things about being sensitive that aren't really talked about. And so if you're a person who also lives with sensitivities, good for you. So some of the bad things is that, like, if I don't understand that I'm really sensitive about sight and I go outside and it's really, really bright, then I'm going to be grumpy or I'm going to feel stressed out. But some things I can do about that is I can have sunglasses, or I can have a hat, or I can go in the shade, or I can just kind of look away or train myself to look away. So those are all good things that I've learned about sight. Also, if it's really, really busy in a space, my brain doesn't really like that very much. Like if people are running everywhere or it's like a really busy room, not only for my sight, but my body senses it and it makes me feel stressed out. So I learned that about myself, and now whenever it's really busy like that, I just know I'm going to need to leave at some point, or where else can I go? And I just check that first. Another thing is taste. So a lot of people who are sensitive have some sensitivities for taste. Either we really like to chew stuff, which is super common. Like a lot of the kids I work with are chewing stuff that they shouldn't chew. Well, it's just because they don't have something else awesome for them to chew, like a Chewy. So there's necklaces that are for Chewy and they're actually made for that. And so if you have a high need to chew, well, we got something for you, so let's just hook you up. Another thing is food. So a lot of people who are sensitive, they only like certain types of food or flavors or things like that, or we like lots of flavor. So there's the two things. When I was growing up, I didn't like a lot of flavor. And then now that I'm a grown up, I'm what you call a foodie. So it's really interesting how that can shift for a person. And not one is wrong or bad or good. It just is. And it's the way my body prefers to be. And so I can accept that without any judgment and go, I like delicious food. It's yum. Another thing is smell. So really strong smelling stuff I don't enjoy, especially if it's got like chemicals and stuff. It makes me feel really sick. And so for kids, it can look like they're looking angry or they're running away, but really it could be a smell that they don't like a cleaning solution is really common. And the kids don't always tell us when that's what it is, but they show us with their body. But I do really love smells like essential oils. And so having an oil diffuser or something that kind of shares lavender or something like that is really calming for me, and actually all of my kids too. So whenever they're home, I always have it on and it kind of helps them feel calmer. Another thing is hearing. A lot of people who are sensitive have a sensitivity to really loud, unexpected sounds. Imagine if inside you're feeling just like out of sorts, and then something's happening at you that you have no control over, but you already feel like you don't have control inside. It's gonna set you off, right? And so for me, I have a lot of sensitivity for sound, especially screaming. And a lot of parents I talk to, they say they have the same thing. You're not alone. There's a lot of us who have that, especially if we've had like trauma or scary things happen in the past. It tells our brain that we're in danger. So no wonder we're going to get crabby or want it to stop or say stop, which we know doesn't work. So some things that help me are, I actually have earbuds, like little earphones or whatever that I put in, and I listen to like music or the same song over and over. Because as sensitive as I am to sound, I'm also positively sensitive to sound. So I love music and I love happy sounds, like laughing. So there are, again, there's like challenging things, but there's also like great things that maybe other people don't get to have. And so we just have to learn how to manage it. I also have like noise canceling headphones that I sometimes wear. And I also give myself permission that if I need to leave for a short time when there's really loud noises, that I can. And it's funny how even just knowing that that's your plan, it actually really helps a lot. Another thing is body sensation. So I'm super sensitive on my body. And so that means if I have a pain, it hurts a lot. But also if it's too painful, my body actually doesn't feel it at all, which is super interesting. And tons of kids have that too, where they're like walking and they'll like cut their leg open and you're like, oh my gosh, your leg is bleeding. And they're like, I'm fine. It's because like their body's so sensitive that it's too much and they actually shut off all sensation there, which also is why sometimes kids get sick for a while and we don't know, like they have bowel problems or they have anxiety and stomach problems. So for me, I wear really soft clothing all the time. I don't like anything scratchy. Yay for leggings. I like really soft blankets, and every night I always wrap myself in something very, very soft. And actually, all my kids are the same too. We all have kind of a sensory or nice blanket like that. A heavy blanket or a weighted blanket, just make sure you're following the recommendations, can be super calming for kids going to sleep, but also grown-ups, because really we're all the same, just that grown-ups have more time to learn how to cope with stuff than kids have had a chance to. That's really the only difference. Also, we have more years to develop our frontal cortex and think about problem solving and stuff, where kids don't have the chance to do that yet because their brain's not developed that part yet. So those are all things that we can do to manage our sensitivity of our body. In terms of being connected with ourselves, that is like one of the biggest things about sensitive people, is that, again, like it's too much. It feels, even joy can sometimes feel too much. So we kind of shut that part off. Like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be too joyous. It's too much. And so when we're really sensitive, something that can be really helpful is, if you're a grown up, you can help your kids do this about connecting with how you feel right now. You can draw it, you can breathe it, you can just for a minute close your eyes and actually feel your body. It sounds funny, but so many of us don't have the opportunity to do that when we're younger. And then all of a sudden we be old and we're like, oh, how come I can't, I can't deal with sadness, or can't, because you never had a chance. That's why. So even as an adult, sometimes I'll just sit down and I'll listen to my favorite song. I'll just feel the emotion of the song. Or I'll have it be totally quiet when the kids are in bed, and I'll put my hand on my heart and I'll just, how are you? How was your day? And it sounds so simple, but it really, really does help a lot in the connectivity of how you feel and your body, and how it feels as well. So feelings and like emotions and your body sensations. So I really want you to think about those things and how they feel for you, in kind of coming to terms with, if you're a sensitive person, it's honestly can be the most wonderful. We love harder, we feel joy more, we also feel pain more. So we need outlets for that as well. So good luck for you in kind of coming up with some lists of things you can do for your sensitivities. And remember that there's all kinds of gifts that come with that other people maybe don't get to have, and really rejoice that. Have a good holiday.